neighborhood this evening is alive with birds. The garden is alive with birds, and I am chopping back this unruly gold variegated honeysuckle. It strives for 40 feet, while I prefer 4 feet. Today we will be viewing the rear garden, down to the koi pond. This is the entrance from the driveway to the rear garden, and much of this has been renovated over the last few years. We will show that and many of the plants from this area. So welcome to the garden, and I hope you enjoy. The path from the driveway down to the rear garden was a muddy mess. A lawn that had deteriorated to mud a year ago. It was dug out, granite pavers laid, and gravel placed to hold the stone pavers in place. I have allowed Massus reptans, a quite aggressive ground cover, to grow between stones, because if not that, then it would end up as a weedy mess, I'm afraid. So so far that has been, I think, successful. At the top of this entrance to the rear garden, we have a relatively new planting, an evergreen dogwood. This is Cornus elliptica, which is getting ready to flower. It was planted last fall, and I have high hopes that this will be a notable feature, a future favorite in the garden. As space becomes limited in much of the garden, a Japanese maple, it can be difficult to fit in. This one is Twombly's Red Sentinel. As the name implies, it is a columnar, narrow, upright growing Japanese maple that so far I have been extremely pleased with for the vertical accent that it has added. Below that is one of the notable features of the garden at this time of year, and that is Baptisia lemon meringue, which puts on quite a show. It is a very vigorous grower, and seems to be very tough, with Baptisias planted in the garden in both damp and extremely dry areas. Unfortunately, we have missed by days the flowering border, the backdrop of Xberry yellow and orange Xberry azaleas in this area. They were in flower until late last week, when thunderstorms, several inches of rain wiped them out. So now we are left with Chardonnay pearls, Deutzia, a beautiful plant in flower, but also with yellow foliage. It does make a show throughout the season. The area above the greenhouse continues to fill in as orchids and toad lilies are just beginning their season's growth. This was an area that was largely filled by a variegated redbud until this winter, when well, it had been leaning for years. Finally, with a heavy snowfall, it had to be removed. In the greenhouse, I only have seedlings of blackberry lilies that were beginning to grow over the winter. They are nearly ready to be planted out. The iris just below the greenhouse are putting on a spectacular show today. Just beyond is a variegated wolf-eye dogwood that is just coming into bloom. The Kusa varieties of dogwood are the latest of the dogwoods to flower, And in behind, if we can see it through the remaining sun, is a Venus dogwood with huge flowers that come on just as the native Cornus Florida dogwoods begin to fade. For lack of a better term, we deem this the summer house. It is the entrance to the koi pond area. 2 Yucca rostrata that were salvaged from a failed landscape anchor the interior planting surrounding the patio that is beside the koi pond. Beyond is the spectacular red horse chestnut. In the background you can see the golden full moon maple. In the foreground, quite a color contrast with a yellow elderberry and purple smoke tree. And we turn towards the koi pond, which we will spend just a few moments on seeing today, since we'll be visiting this again soon as all the garden's water features are visited. And that is all for today. Thank you for visiting Rambling Through Dave's Garden. I hope to see you again. Goodbye.